Thursday's hump day. Did we figure out what Thursday was? Close to the weekend.
I don't know what Thursday is.
Tuesday's Taco Tuesday. We figured that one out.
That's right.
Anyway, I'd like to welcome you here, and my name's George Gary, and I am cooking from my kitchen. We're in like show 89, something like that. And I really thought I'd only do it for a couple weeks, but it's gone a little longer. And before I keep talking about myself, I want you to find out who our cameraman is, and that's Neil.
Hi, everybody.
He,
Whoops.
whoops.
Little earthquake.
This is shown in Australia. It's interesting. People will watch live at 6:30 my time, and they'll say, people will like, well, how can you have people from Australia? And it's because of my years on cruise ships. I have Australia, Canada, Europe. Not as much. They watch replay because it's in the middle of the night over in Europe. And but besides being on cruise ships when I used to, I also teach all over the country and write a bunch of books, have a tour company, and I do morning shows all over the place. And the past month, even though I've been home, I've got lighting, cameras, action, and we do remotes. So on all major networks I was this past couple weeks. We're going to focus on Lawry's. Lawry's was, well, you guys know it as a spice, but Lawry's had a place called California Center, and it was close to downtown Los Angeles, and it was the place where the lawyers would go for their 3 martini lunch or 3 margarita lunch. And it had a number of restaurants in there, and they highlighted, they had a winery, a wine bar, they had the packing plant where they packed and showed you their spices, all sorts of things. And Lawry's, still the family owns steak places, but we're focusing on California Center. And what I'm going to do is show you a few pictures from my LA Legendary Restaurant book and let you see what Lawry's look like, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you about what's there today. We'll be right back. So that was what it looks like back in the day. Today, it's a center, a nature center, and they do have the gates still and some of the water fountains, because I was out there taking some pictures. But Lawry's Spice Company was sold off years back, and it's manufactured on the East Coast now. I'm going to drain this liquid. I'm doing ground turkey, which back in the day they never did ground turkey, because most people just did ground beef. What I'm making today is these are their recipes, and this is the Lawry's Mexican lasagna. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to do another Lawry's bean dish with black beans, and those were all served in their Mexican restaurant. And you can still find the spices everywhere and make this. So what we have, just to start out, and all the recipes are on my blog, so make sure you download those. And we've got ground beef or turkey. We've got Lawry's taco seasoning that comes in a packet, Lawry's seasoned salt that everybody's used to, and when you go to Lawry's, the steak places, in fact, those will be in my next book, Made in California, and they're just, Lawry's prime rib is what I mean. They're just wonderful. We just sprinkled all of our seasonings, Lawry seasonings. Then we're going to trying to make sure I've got the meat heated. Then we're going to take our tomato sauce and tomatoes. Bring that to, let's just make sure. And our green chilies. Now the green chilies are the Ortega in the can, and these are just the diced green chilies. These are hot. They do have green chilies that aren't so hot. The jalapenos aren't as hot. If you don't want the green chilies, you can keep them out. But they do have a good flavor to it. Since it's going to be Mexican lasagna, and this is very much I've never seen Mexican lasagna in a Mexican restaurant, just to let you know. I think this is more of to use the Lawry's products. So Neil's going to do a close-up of this mixture so you can see what it looks like with all the tomatoes and sauce and those chilies. We'll bring that to a little simmer and we'll keep it uncovered for 10 minutes. So then what we will do is, while this is, you don't want it to burn, so you're going to prepare your pan, which, there's your pan. We've got ricotta cheese and we have eggs. We're going to take that and blend it together. Again, I tell you, always use a larger, and I have a small bowl. So I'll just blend this up. And if it gets all over the place, oh well, I'm a professional. I don't know what professional. I'm going to get a whisk, a little whisk, just to blend that up a little bit better. And put that there. So now all we really have left is our cheeses, our meat that we're cooking for the 10 minutes, and then we have the tortillas. Now the tortillas are what the lasagna noodles are. So, and you can do this in a square pan. I'm just using a French pan, but you want this to be all blended up. So I'm trying to be careful because of the egg. There we go. So there's our ricotta cheese, mixture of a bunch of different cheeses. We've got this going. And this is done. This is a few more minutes. I want to taste that and see if it needs some salt and pepper, because it might. You want to stop mine and start back again? Okay, I'm going to taste it. It's okay. I thought maybe it might need some. Right now, this is really good to put on hamburgers. Hamburger buns. Almost like sloppy joes that we made one week. Okay, so what I've got here is our ricotta cheese and our eggs, corn tortillas. I'm just using smaller ones. We have some shredded Monterey Jack. In a small bowl, we've done this. We're going to take about half of this meat mixture, and we're going to put this on here. You want like a 9 by 13 inch pan. Now, I know this has holes in it. I wasn't straining anything. It was just what I grabbed. Just letting you know. Let me get a little bit more. See, it's not straining anything. And then what we will do is take our tortillas, and they can layer on top. It's fine. I take about 10 total, so 5 right now, just like that. And then we're going to take half of this mixture, place it on here, on top of the tortillas, and I will smooth this out with a spatula. This is going to be so good. I remember eating this there. We went a couple times for birthdays before they closed it down. It was worth, the property is worth a fortune. Yes, you did. Jonathan's birthday with his mother.
I don't remember.
Oh, we did. Sprinkle with half of the cheese. So we'll take half of this, about half. And then what we will do is repeat. So we're going to add all of the meat on this one. So I take it straight down the center. And then I'll take that spatula, go across just to kind of like that. Don't worry too much if you like that. And then we will put tortillas down. Am I tortillas next?
Tortillas, I believe.
Let
yes.
me make sure. Yep. tortillas, or as my sister's friend calls them, tortillas. And you're like, what? It's kind of like armadillos, tortillos. Okay, then we're going to take the rest of this mixture. And whenever you have something like this, you don't want to just put it all here. You clump it down the center, and it'll be easier to spread to the edges. And you only have a certain amount left. And just thinly spread. See, nobody's going to see this. When you cut into it, then you, just like that. Then we're going to finish it off with the rest of the cheese. And this goes in the oven. I might need some more cheese. So I'm going to get some more cheese, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes until it browns, and we'll be right back. Let me get some. Our lasagna, Mexican lasagna, is out. It's bubbling, and the cheese is all ready to go. So we'll cut into this after we finish up with our bean salad. So our lasagna came out, as you saw, and now we're going to be doing our black bean salad. This is a little bit different than that green bean salad we did a few weeks ago. This is from Lawry's, and I'm going to use some of the things that we've created this week. Remember, we did stock. We're going to be using our own stock. And then we did a Brown Derby Day. We did some French dressing, and that, or Italian, you could use either one. So I'm going to use that. And we've got black beans. Now, you can buy them already in cans and drain them, or buy a pound of the dry and just overnight you soak them, and the recipe tells you all how to do it. You soak them in water overnight, then the next day you drain it, you add water, and you bring it to a simmer for about an hour and a half. And then you can taste one of the black beans, and if they got not a big crunch to it, they're done. And that's what you do. So there's our beans, and we already did that. So that we did ahead of time. And we've got some things to chop. So I'm gonna chop these real quick, which are one of each of our different color of our peppers. I did bacon the other day already, so I did all the 2 pounds. So technically what you want is after you did the bacon, you're gonna pull it out and use the fat to cook the other stuff. I don't have any of the fat left. So I'm gonna add a little bit of canola oil. And we've got onion and garlic and cilantro, and then our beans. So we're gonna chop this up. I'm sure you guys like me chopping all that stuff fast because it's boring to watch me do it. And we've got our peppers, and the bacon's already done. So what I'm gonna do is take onions in that bacon fat that I told you I had. I did the bacon earlier, so I used a little bit of oil. I'm not gonna use the garlic yet because garlic will burn. So I've got that and the peppers. I like to keep them separated, the colors, and then mix them. So it's a little bit more dramatic when you're cooking. And there's our oh, that smells good. And I don't even have the spices in yet. Here we've got some spices, cayenne and some ground cumin, just a little bit. And I'm going to cook this until they soften. It's not going to take that long. Then I will add, is that colorful or what?
Lots of color.
And now, Lawry's had 4 restaurants, I believe, and the packing plant, and then they also had a cooking school. When I was working on my book, I did research at the downtown library in Los Angeles, and they had the recipes, and they even did recipes for the blind, which I thought was fascinating. And it was nice. So they did a bunch of cooking classes for people with sight impaired. And this was in the 60s, pretty much, 60s and 70s. And they would have it. They had a test kitchen similar to Sunset Magazine back when it was up in Menlo Park. They had one up there too. So as soon as these soften up, which about just a few minutes, I'm gonna put the cilantro in. I'm not a big cilantro fan, but I'm doing the recipe exactly how it says. Cilantro is a little strong for me sometimes. I'll switch it and use Italian parsley instead of cilantro. But
I like the smell of the cilantro.
You like the smell?
Mm-hmm. Smells good.
There's this one Mexican restaurant we go to in Los Angeles, and they use a lot of cilantro, and my tummy doesn't agree with it. Here's our beans. And those were the beans that I had soaked. If you want, instead, you can take 3 or 4 cans of regular sized canned beans and drain them and wash them, because you get a little film, and then use that instead of the bag. But a bag of beans is less than $1.25, somewhere around there. And then you use that. Now, this is the part where you're going to take chicken broth and simmer. So this is the chicken broth I made. And we're going to let that simmer for about 30 minutes on medium. And as soon as it starts simmering, I will put a timer on it. And then we will add, I was just reading, I'm noticing I don't tell you when to put the bacon, but we do that with the salad dressing. And we'll put that all together. And you can serve this hot or cold, but that broth will absorb into the beans. Not like the string bean or the green bean salad we did about 3 weeks ago. That one was just blanching the beans and putting a dressing on it. So we'll be back when this is done in about 40 minutes. Okay, everything's done from Lawry's. Oh, look at that. And there's our Mexican lasagna. And in fact, they look like lasagna leaves. And there's our salad. It's hot. You can serve it hot or cold. Either way, and it's really good the next day. So there's our lasagna and our, look at the cheesiness. You didn't know you could use tortillas to make a Mexican lasagna, did you?
Beautiful.
And make sure you use those chilies in there. There's our bean salad. So we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Lawry's California Center, and we hope that you have a great day. And if you need one of my books, email me and I can get one out to you autographed and personalized. Wear your mask, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.